What's up, guys? Dimebot here, and welcome to Mighty number 9. So, this is going to be a first impressions. We streamed this for almost 3 hours today, and I have a lot of thoughts on this game. So first off, let's go ahead and take a look at the options. We've got full screen window, borderless window. I've had a weird issue where the borderless window doesn't actually cover the whole screen, even on 1080. You've got a screen percentage slider, you've got gamma correction, vertical sync on or off. We're going to turn that off. Graphic quality goes to basically mid, low, and high. You've got anti-aliasing, don't know what type it is. Anisotropic filtering, shadow quality, bloom, and motion blur. Motion blur is going off. Audio, you've got separate sliders for everything, and this is a nice touch. And for other, you can calibrate your joystick, which is their way of saying do keyboard or do custom bindings. This is an awful system. It locks out your controller while you do this, so you have to use your keyboard for everything, and it's just terrible. Fortunately, the default controls work fine. That's pretty much it. It's not a bad options menu considering the game. Now, you have a couple different game modes. You have EX mode, which is challenges. We're not going to do any of these. There's a few things I haven't unlocked as well. There's online race, actually, and online leaderboards. And then we have the main game. So, now, this came up multiple times during the stream, and I'm going to go ahead, by the way, this is a fair ways on. I'm not going to play the later levels, except for one quick one to avoid spoilers, but one thing that came up a lot during the stream was this looks like a Mega Man clone. I'm going to go ahead and put that to bed right now. People, this is made by Keiji Inafune, the creator of Mega Man. This is his Kickstarter game from Comcept that raised several $1 million on Kickstarter. It basically is Mega Man. So, I was getting a little annoyed with that during the stream. There's a reason it looks like a Mega Man clone. So let's take a look at, say, the oil platform. Now, you can get a little explanation
Substantial damage to the refinery
from Call, who's your little robot on that tells you what's going on. And whenever you beat another Mighty, basically the robot masters from Mega Man, and you steal their powers in this game, just like Mega Man, but they'll also give you some tips about the game or the upcoming level if that's the boss that is weak to them, which is actually a way to see where you need to go next. You just look for who has advice under their level select after you beat an enemy. And they'll also help you during the level. So you'll notice that the enemies, after I do a little bit of damage to them, start to glow. What this lets you do, as Beck, is assimilate them. And when you assimilate certain enemies, they're different colors, and they give you different stat perks, which you'll see pop up above your character when you absorb them. So like this guy gave me red. So that's an attack combo bonus. Not combo bonus, an attack power bonus. There we go. So, as you can see, you can dash, you can crouch dash, you cannot wall jump, your gun does not have charge. So in that way, it's very much like a throwback to the original Mega Man, albeit with some very interesting level design. And you can also basically fly as long as you air dash at the right time. Speedrunners are probably going to love this game. Now, you also have, in the case of me particularly, you have the powers from the other Mighties that you've beaten. So, for example, I have this. So you just tap the Y button and you can change to that power. I can use it to hover. I can throw it. Here's the boss of the level kind of taunting me. The voice acting in this game is not very good. I'm not going to make any bones about that.
It's confirmed. Pyro has gone rogue as well. Beck, you must hurry.
So switching powers is pretty easy. I'm almost dead, though. Because I have not been paying attention to what I've been doing. I've been talking. So, yeah, that's not a good thing. And I just dashed into my death. Lovely. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about some things in this game. So, the graphics engine for this game, this is a brand new game. Graphics, as you'll notice, are extremely dated. The 3D models look a little janky. There's some weird animations. There's some very bad texture work in the background on those trucks. I mean, they look absolutely awful. There's a section I'll show you coming up where there's towers collapsing all around you, and the effect that they use when they break looks like something out of an N64 or a PlayStation game. It's atrocious. You'll also have all these side characters chattering in your ear on the way on the missions. It's how welcome the chatter is varies on your tolerance for this game's voice acting. Get up there. It's a nice touch. I appreciate that they put the effort in. It can get a bit aggravating, as can some of the level design. You see, Beck does have this nice little animation for when he's hurt. He just kind of just kind of gasps and looks weary. That death actually brings us to something else I want to talk about. Input lag. This game does not register inputs right half the time. I have died multiple times due to a missed jump input for absolutely no reason. I have died multiple times because the game thought I pressed down to let go of something when I actually didn't. There's a lot of things that are very janky with the control scheme for this game. It's also not hard or not easy to play while you're talking, but there's a lot of things that are really kind of weird about the control scheme for this game that make it harder to play than I think it has to be. And I tried playing it on keyboard, and it's impossible. If you don't have a controller, don't even think about it. And actually, during the stream, my buddy Zero Cross was watching, and he was trying to play the game at the same time, and he has a PlayStation controller, and apparently the game does not work at all, even when you have it set to emulate an Xbox controller. Here's some of that voice acting I was talking about. It's got a very 80s, very juvenile sense of humor. It's a little grating. I mean, the game feels good for the most part. I'll give it that. The comboing is fun. You know, when everything's coming together, it's great. The problem is that for this game, a lot of the times, everything doesn't come together. Some janky level designs, some really cheap one-hit kill sections, maybe worse than anything I remember from any of the old Mega Man games. It does have absolutely fantastic music. In fact, can we switch it to pixel music right now? Or retro music? No. I'm assuming that has to be done at the main menu. You also have a character who looks almost exactly like Zero from the Mega Man X series. It's kind of amusing, actually. But all in all, I'm not really sure what I think about this game. It's definitely a nostalgia trip. It's got some interesting concepts going for it. It also has some really janky controls, some awful voice acting, some terrible looking graphics in places.
Hold of yourself. What are you? I see. He's locked inside. Beck, destroy all robots in the area. You'll need their energy to unlock the door.
And particularly one level that comes to mind is the level that you get the power you just saw I was using, the sniper power. It takes place in basically the White House, and you have to find the sniper, and the level loops. And in order to find him, you have to go all the way around the level, basically 4 times. And by the time that 3 or 4 times, by the time that we finally found him, I had killed every enemy in the level and was just running.
All fall before my blade. Onward, Beck.
Now that's what I was talking about the others helping you. It's actually a really nice touch, and they can help you out with some really hard parts of the levels.
That's more like
There are secrets hidden in these levels. I have found what looks like a couple optional paths. One thing I will say is when they were advertising this game, they made these the combo system seem way more awesome than it was. It's actually just kind of a generic as generic can be combo system. You kill guys in rapid succession, it gives you scores and shiny things.
that's more like that's more
Also, not a ton of enemy design or enemy variants. You'll see basically the same kind of enemies in all the different levels. Maybe some reskinning to fit with like an ice theme or something, but that's about it. And here's something else I hate. So I was using the crouch dash there. It's a pixel perfect window, basically. It's extremely frustrating. I think we repeated this section maybe 4 or 5 times on stream. Some of the checkpoints are very poorly placed as well. I've had to redo entire 5-minute sections of a level just because I missed one tiny jump or this game didn't register an input right, and the last checkpoint was just unforgivingly far back.
bring it on.
Alright, there we go. Cleared that with relatively little problem. And now we'll have to do another bossy thing. That's very formulaic. Most of your levels are going to have a mini-boss of some kind.
It's a good thing I'm not afraid of the dark. At all.
Yep, there's some more cringeworthy voice acting for you.
How am I supposed to enjoy my meal with you screaming in my ear?
I'm so sorry. I just... Wait. Number 3? You're the one behind these power outages.
That's right, genius. Oh, this delicious energy. Who can resist?
Yeah, that voice acting. Now, what would she be weak to? Is she weak to herself? Is she Metal Man? She is not.
There's no escape. See how well you can.
She's not weak to that either. Okay.
See how you like this.
You notice I just refilled my health. You can press the backspace when you have a certain item filled. It was that little diamond shape right little in my HUD. And that allowed me to refill my health. And to kill bosses, you have to actually damage them to a certain point and then actually hit them with your absorb ability.
What the? Big flash.
There we go. Dead. That's fine. That'll allow me to show you guys something else in this game. So this is something that... Retire. Something that came up, and I'm actually glad we got to it, because I think that this is something that absolutely destroys the pacing of the game. So, minor spoiler,
All set, then?
but call the robot girl that tells you
Go!
what to do. And I'll skip the talking sections here for you guys.
All
that gives you advice and reports for you. You play as her, and you get key cards. She has no abilities. She cannot absorb enemies. She can dash and hover, and put up a shield. But the shield has to be manually recharged. They basically equate to almost pseudo-stealth sections, except then they ask you to fight. She has to crawl. She can't actually crouch dash. And she also calls out everything she's doing, which is kind of annoying. That's a recharge for her shield. Now, this, to me, really kills the pacing of the game. Not because I object to the stealth sections, but because of what it does to you here coming up in just a minute, which I'll show you guys. So, avoided that guy. She too can basically fly. So here's why it really kills the pacing, because even though she's basically non-combat, they ask you to kill all these different types of enemies. And it's slow, it's not dynamic, it's not fast-paced, it's not intuitive like it is with Beck. It's just kind of meh. So, to put you in a situation where you have a character who has none of the combat abilities of the game's main character, and then ask them to go through a massive combat trial is really irritating. Like these guys. You cannot kill these guys with her. It's simply not possible. You simply have to survive. And these guys, you can't kill them, but you can't absorb them. You have to shoot them 10 or 12 times. Okay, come on. So yeah, it's a very, very jarring transition in what is otherwise a fast-paced action game. They have you doing this incredibly slow pseudo-stealth. I have to fight, but I have no real combat power section. I don't know what they were thinking. For that matter, I think that sums up my opinion of this game very well. I don't know what they were thinking for a lot of it. It's like the team that made the game had some fantastic ideas, that all got hampered somewhere along the way by, I don't know, management or something. Because, having played the Mega Man games, you know that Inafune is capable of making some great games, but this certainly wouldn't indicate it if you just looked at it for the first time. I don't know. Dated graphics engine, really wonky textures, controls that don't work right, unplayable with a keyboard, bad voice acting. Some of the levels are extremely fun. Some of the boss designs are really cool. And when the game is flowing right, as I said before, it's a frickin' blast. It just doesn't flow right most of the time to me. There's a lot wrong here. So, I wouldn't even be going on this long about this game if it wasn't the spiritual successor to Mega Man. And also, if it wasn't priced at $20. Because I think, with the price point argument, for the price that this game is... for the price that this game is at on Steam, it's actually not not an instant no-buy for me, because it is $20. And that's not a horrible asking price for a mediocre game, which is what I would call this game. It's mediocre. It's competent. It has some incredibly frustrating sections, like this one right here. Like, this is bullshit. I will just flat out say it. This section is bullshit. And you'll see where it starts me. It starts me all the way back here, so if I want to get back to that section again, I have to fight my way through all of this nonsense again. Like, checkpoints are very bad. If you screw up, you're gonna get punished. That's just the nature of this game. Holding, grabbing. She's so irritating. Barrier. I do not like this character. Playing her, well, let's take that back. I don't like playing this character. It's not fun. Alright, I don't feel like trying to get by this. So guys, let's back out to the main menu and talk about this one last time. So this is, as I said, the spiritual successor to Mega Man. It's far from perfect. It's
Head and choose your next target.
certainly
The VR training program I devised.
certainly not as polished as some of the later Mega Man games. It's got some input problems. It's got some weird looking models sometimes. I think maybe challenge mode and the online races, the leaderboards might help it a little bit. There is, of course, DLC coming for this game, because why wouldn't there be? But we'll see how that goes. The challenge mode also may extend the longevity of the game some, because it does add some variables to the game, like I don't have any of my abilities, but I can pick up these haste modules. And there we go. So, I don't know, guys. It's $20 or US or your regional equivalent. If it looks like fun, maybe pick it up. Maybe know that, you know, you need to go into it with a little bit of caution, because the game is not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. This is kind of amusing, though. Alright, guys, thank you so much for watching. My name is Dimebot. If you like the video, please hit like and subscribe. I will see you next time. Like what you saw? Click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Or click on one of these other videos.